Good morrow and welcome to episode 51, I think, which is another one of my rambles. But today we're going to be talking about how it is really important to get your workout in. I'm not saying it isn't, but that we also need to think about something else, which is how much we're moving during the rest of our day. We can't out exercise sitting all day, is the main theme. And a lot of us, me included these days, have a job that can be mainly quite sedentary. So a lot of office jobs, a lot of working from home. And you can find that general movement, just like walking or doing the housework, is so underrated as an output. And we always think about we've got to go and do these really hard workouts. And yes, we do, because we need to elevate our pulse rate a bit more than walking and housework can do. And we do need to do resistance training. But we also need to move as much as we can when we are doing the rest of our day. So we might be sat, for 8 or 9 hours at work, and then we go home and we have a quick rest on the sofa, or we just potter about. So we get a few steps in, but it's not tons. And then going to the gym or going to our class or doing our home workout, whatever, is fantastic, and we should still be doing that. But if possible, we want to try to tweak our general steps and our general output during the day. And the bonus is we don't have to have our best gym clothes on, right, to get it done. We can just do it at any point. We can do it in the clothes we're wearing for work. Possibly if you're working from home in your pajamas, maybe put something a little bit more suitable on for public viewing. But your call. Your pajamas might be beautiful. At the end of the day, motion's lotion. And as human beings, we weren't designed to be sat down all day. It's happened because of technology, basically. But if you think even back sort of 50 years, a lot more of the things that we do at home were manual, like laundry. More than 50 years ago, obviously, but we would have been hunting or foraging for food. Even 50 years ago, cooking was more manual. Now, most things we can cook on a hob or in an air fryer. Back in the day, we would have had to have gone to the well to get water. And all of these things are now automated, right? By the touch of a button or the twist of a tap, which is great. But potentially, it's not going to get us that much movement in. So these days, we kind of have to create these more artificial, and obviously it's not really artificial, but you know what I mean. We have to artificially get the movement in that we would have got in naturally, years and years ago. So 7,500, somewhere between 6,500 and 7,500 steps a day is the minimum that we want to aim for, and that's just for general health. And that means like some cardiovascular benefits, some mental health benefits, obviously. You get some endorphins, and it can help with regulating things like anxiety and depression, especially if you can get your steps in near green stuff. So if you do have that at work, like some kind of outdoor space, if you work on a business park and it's got like a lake and some grass, or maybe you live or work near a park, being near green stuff can really help with mental health benefits. Walking can also help with our general mobility and bone density in our lower body, because we're using our muscles, so that in turn tugs on our bones, which helps to create strength in those bones and in our connective tissue as well. So in things like our tendons and ligaments and stuff. Walking actually helps with the regulation of our blood sugar levels, and our general activity here can help a lot with our weight management. So if that's something you're concerned about, step count is a great place to start and get moving. I know it can feel like you think 7,500 steps a day, and if you're naturally at the moment with work getting in about 2,000, that can feel like a lot. And one of the ways that you can easily track your steps and cheaply is with a fitness tracker. And that doesn't mean that you have to buy an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or whatever, which are great, by the way. They're all great watches for step count. You can, on Amazon, buy really cheap ones. Mine was about 23 quid on Amazon, and I don't want it to connect to my phone, although it does do that. But I have blocked it from connecting with my phone, and I don't want my phone calls coming through. I don't want to see my messages on it. I just want to get my step count. So I was like, I'm going to get the cheapest watch that I can that looks half decent and works for my step count, because that's all I'm really using it for, the time and my step count. So don't think I'm telling you go and spend like 200 quid or whatever on a watch. 20 quid on Amazon, get one that's got good reviews and go from there. So if we think, right, I've ordered my stepwatch, for now I'm going to shove my phone in my pocket because that's got an app on that can track steps. I talk to my clients a lot about this, and especially those who work from home, so maybe don't have a commute, they don't even have to walk to the car, that kind of stuff. We create like artificial commutes. So before work and after work, I'd say something like try to walk around the block for 10 minutes or walk to the shop to get a coffee or a cool drink for later in the day. If you've got a dog, obviously that's going to help you anyway. So 10-minute walk, depending obviously on your body, could get you up to about 1,500 steps, maybe a little bit longer, depends on the person, a little bit more steps, sorry, depending on the person. So just a 10-minute walk, get out, like try to get a brisk walk if you're capable of doing that, and just reap the benefits from that. So we're going to try to do that as well in the evening. Let's say that your average work finish time is somewhere between 5 and half 6, right? Just a really quick walk, even if you're still at work, walk around the business park before you leave, or get home and get it done then. And then that's going to add that on. Then we want to look again at lunch, because I get it, and a lot of us feel under pressure to kind of skip that lunch break. But one, it's going to help you with your focus, and believe me, I know this because I work at a desk a lot as well. So just taking a little bit of time away from your computer, or just having that headspace away from the thing that you're doing, to pop out and get a few steps in. And I'm not saying you've got an hour off, go for an hour's walk, but getting in sort of 10 to 15 minutes around the block, or walk to pick your lunch up from the M&S garage, whatever it is you're doing. You're not obligated to spend lunch at your desk, and like legally you should be taking a break. So I know that there's a lot of pressure to stay and get it all done, but you are going to be more productive as well. Moving, getting your steps in, can also reduce the possibility of you having to have time off work with things like back and joint pain. So technically, your walk benefits your employer. So these 3 walks, sort of morning and evening commute, and then your lunch break, could get you as many as 6,000 steps in, just from like 3 sort of 10 to 15 minute walks. So obviously it's different for every person, so I can't tell you exactly how many it's going to get, because it depends on like your speed and your limb length and stuff like that. So even if you think I'm getting 1,000 steps, or just over 1,000 steps on each of these walks, that's already pushing you towards halfway, even before you've gone to your class or whatever. And don't forget, on Flex, and if I've got a couple on YouTube as well, I've got Stride It Out, which is a low impact dance fitness workout, which is designed for step count. So there's no jumping, because I know that it will be at home or like in the boardroom when no one's in there at work. But for rainy days, or days where you can't leave the house because you're waiting in for someone, it can be really handy to use something like that if you need to. So whether you're starting out with fitness or whether you're slap bang in the middle of one, your steps are really important, and I still focus on them a lot. I've been doing this for sort of 20 plus years, and steps are something that I look at because I want to benefit my body. So, get all these benefits that we're talking about. I want to move it. I want to make sure that to be honest, for me, that I've got plenty of space to eat loads of food. So I want to keep my activity levels up during the day, so that then it increases my overall requirement for food, which makes me obviously generally happy. The other thing that just moving and stepping, walking around can do for you is to get you in the headspace of moving. So if you're starting out in fitness and at the moment you're pretty much sat down most of the day, like our recreation time can often be sat, right? Like if we're in the pub or we're watching TV in the evening, we've been sat all day and now we're sat all evening as well. And that in itself can make it really difficult for you to get in the headspace of, now I'm going to go and do my workout, or now I'm going to go and do this, because you haven't done anything and your body is like just sat there, and the energy it requires you to get moving can feel a lot. And I've even experienced this, like on the weekend, if I don't get up on a Sunday and go for a walk or go to the gym, my day feels like I feel so much more like, oh, do you know what? I might just sit for a bit longer, do my cross stitch. Whereas if I've been moving, it really gets your brain in that zone of like, yeah, cool, this isn't as hard as I thought it'd be. It's also going to give you that feeling of being successful, so you're ticking something off. And again, that feeling of being successful can be huge in terms of your confidence and your motivation to fit in your workouts and maybe to eat well as well, if that's something that you're looking at. So this week, so it's the 21st of July today when this is going up, I'm doing a step challenge over on my Facebook. So let's just search Anna Martin Fitness and come over on there, hang out and join in with it. If you're not listening to this after the fact, like, you can still do a step challenge. In my notes section on my phone, I just have a little tick list of all the things that I want to do that week. And it's not necessarily just fitness related, it's hobby related as well. So I might have, like, I want to play the drums 3 times, I need to do 3 lots of rhythm practice, I want to read my book 3 times, I want to do my cross stitch 3 times, whatever it is. And then I'll have in there my workouts, my step count, like anything else that I want to kind of tick off. And then I just put a little green tick next to them, and then I use the checklist function. And when I've done all the green ticks I need after each line, I tick the whole line off. And then it crosses it out, and it's quite satisfying to do that. So don't kind of overthink it. Get yourself something that you can track your steps on so you have an idea of where you're starting from. Because again, we can massively overestimate our starting point. Sometimes we think, oh yeah, I must have done 3,000, and then I look at my watch and I've done about 900. So we want to get a realistic picture of where we're at, so then we can set goals. You don't have to go from like 1,000 steps to 8,000 steps or 7,500 steps or whatever your goal is in one day. You could try to increase it. So I'm going to do 1,000 steps this week. Next week I'm going to do 2,000 steps for the first half of the week and 3,000 steps for the second half of the week. We can gradually crank this up and get this to feel like part of our daily life and part of something that we feel kind of quite relaxed to get sorted and get fitted in there. Okay, I am going to stop rabbiting on. I do think that I've actually done this really quickly. So hopefully this has given you motivation to maybe listen to another podcast of mine and go for a little walk with it on. If you're a gym person, I watch stuff while I'm walking on the treadmill. I put a film on it. To be honest, I don't really watch it, but I kind of like listen to it in the background to give me something to do. Or I listen to a podcast. Obviously, for most people, I think you'd probably listen to music, but I don't necessarily find that kind of focuses me on what I'm doing, because I should end up doing choreography to it. So do something for you that feels like it's making your brain feel a little bit calmer and a little bit more free. Walking can be a really helpful way of doing that. Whether you're listening to music, whether you're doing whatever it is, maybe you're listening to the birds sing whilst you're doing it because you just need headspace from noise. Anything, rope a friend in. I have a walk date with 2 of my best friends every Monday, 5:15. We meet before they need to start driving their kids around to evening clubs because their kids are a bit older. So we literally do 5:15 to 6:15 walk, and then they can go and do all the mum stuff that they need to do after that, like bedtimes for one of my friends, and for my other friend, all the pickups for all the sports clubs that her teenagers are doing. So you can work it out. You can rope friends in. Maybe your family would love to get involved with you, doing a few more steps. It's just a nice excuse to chat to people and get that full conversation going. You could, if you come to my classes or whatever, like, why not ask someone else from class to go with you? Most people need that kind of thing. And if you're thinking, oh, well, I've got to do this on my own, don't worry, I do most of my walking on my own. But it gives me that little bit of time and that bit of headspace to get my energy levels up and get myself cracking. Anyway, I will actually shut up now. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you very soon.